Listen, leaders never lie to supersize their business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with Supersize Your Business. Was having a conversation, a little chat with my 6-year-old granddaughter yesterday. We're hanging out this summer during the day while I do my business on the side. I've been actually hanging out with her the majority of her life while I've been running my businesses on the side. I ran a Italian food manufacturing business for 35 plus years and did it with my granddaughter the first couple of years of her life. Now, I thought it was fascinating. We're on the topic of leadership as we're looking at leadership idioms. And this isn't really an idiom, but it is a belief. The belief that leaders never lie. Now, she's 6 and she has already formed this belief. Now, I don't know how strongly she believes it. Pretty strongly from the conversation we were having. And it got me to thinking and researching. And of course, you always get opposite ends of the spectrum whenever you research anything, which reminds us just to think for ourselves, right? But I found an article on the 10 lies that leaders tell themselves, which is interesting because great leaders theoretically don't lie to themselves and they're honest with themselves. But is that true? And I'm going to share these 10 things, and I want you to ask yourself and do a little self-assessment and audit and say, do I believe any of these things about myself? And then I'm just going to share what the characteristics are of good leaders. There's lots of different lists of characteristics of good leaders out there. I'm just going to share 9, ask you to add any that you want, just to think about what do these things mean to you? How do you define a good leader? Are you a good leader? Are you an average leader? Are you a terrible leader? I know people really close to me, people in my own family, that think they are role models and the best leaders in the world. And if I were to run them through this thing of 10, maybe as I'm sharing the list, I will think of them and I'll share their score with you. But they think they are forming young minds and the best, most amazing examples of leadership on the world. And when I look at them from the outside looking in at how they treat people, what they do, what they say, how they act, what they think, I suspect that they think all of these lies that they tell themselves that other people actually don't believe. So what are these crazy lies that leaders tell themselves? No, maybe before I get into that, I believe, and if we look at the characteristics of leaders and what people expect from their leaders, the number one thing is always to be a good person. Being a good person meaning honest, trustworthy, ethical, moral. Now, if we look at the examples around us in our life, I think a part of it depends on why and how someone is perceived as a leader or is a leader. I'm going to say there is no way, shape, or form that politicians don't lie. Politicians are in leadership positions because we elect them to be, yet I would say that lying, manipulation, misrepresentation of the truth, coercion, and all kinds of other things are on the list of those type of leaders. I also would not consider them good leaders. Just because you're elected to a position doesn't automatically make you a good leader. So, we'll talk about the leadership skills later, but I kind of wanted to get that off my chest right off the bat. So what are 10 lies that leaders tell themselves? Now, my granddaughter will tell me today again that leaders never lie. And I'm not going to burst her bubble on that. I'm going to let her think for herself and analyze for herself and decide if she's going to form that as a belief or an opinion or not. But I think that it's very dangerous for any of us to assume ever that just because someone is in a position of authority or in a leadership position that they're 100% honest or integrity. Now, I think with lying, a lot of times people are not lying intentionally so much as they are sharing their interestingly perceived version of the truth or version of events. I've met people that are absolute narcissists, and in their mind, which is their reality, they are absolutely positively telling the true version of events as they see them. Now, anyone else looking at it, the situation from the outside would say, this person's totally crackers and delusional. They have no idea what they're talking about. That's not what happened at all. But to the person that is saying their version of events, they absolutely believe that that's what happened. That's why we get, witnesses will tell totally different stories after seeing the same and witnessing the same exact event. People will give different versions of what actually happened based on their perspective, based on their past experience, based on what they even see. So what are these 10 lies that leaders tell themselves? I want to grab my magnifying glass so I don't mess these up. I don't remember. This was just a Google article. I don't even remember where it came from, but I thought it was a pretty good list of things that anybody, this isn't just leaders that tell themselves this, human beings delude themselves and lie to themselves about these things, but leaders in particular, it's kind of bad because they're influencing other people. So number one, people love it when I tweak their work. I don't know about you, but I never liked when my boss came in, and if they're tweaking it and helping and coaching me to be better next time, awesome. But if they're just tweaking everything that I do, that gets really frustrating. It doesn't help me to develop as an individual. Number two, I assess myself accurately. I'm going to tell you right now, I know I absolutely positively don't see myself accurately like the rest of the world sees me. None of us do. We have a filter on ourselves that we only see ourselves based on our filter of our past experiences and things like that, our beliefs and expectations. Number three, I know how I'm perceived. I guess that fed right into that one. The only way we know how we're perceived is if we actually seek feedback, ask people, and pay attention to the information and the things that they tell us without filtering it. Number four, I don't have a problem with arrogance. Number five, I'm a great listener. Number six, hiding weaknesses works. Number seven, sharing feelings makes me look weak. Number eight, telling enables, meaning if I tell somebody something and they don't get it, if I tell it to them again louder and over again in the exact same words, then that helps them to learn better. Not so much. Number nine, people who flatter me like me. Do they now? And number 10, I'm over my last outburst, meaning that they're over their last outburst. That's the only one that I kind of don't understand, but it's subject to all of our interpretation, right? So anyway, that's the list. I thought that was interesting. And we all have this belief that leaders, great leaders, don't lie. I would suspect that leaders, like all human beings, tend to lie to themselves. We lie to ourselves about everything, not intentionally, but it's filtered by our beliefs more than we would ever intentionally lie to other people. Well, how does this affect how we grow and supersize and build our business? I think the biggest lesson from leaders lie to themselves, for me, is that we need to realize that how we're performing and how we affect the world and the people around us is determined by the people that we're affecting and the world around us, not by us. And we need to one of the best ways to not lie to ourselves is to actually gather information, hear something, but always question our self-evaluation. If I say I'm an absolutely horrible communicator, I can't put two words together, now I might believe that about myself. Then I have to go out and I have to look for evidence of that being true or false. Is that true or false? And I'm looking for real evidence, feedback from other people, information that they tell me, questions that they ask me, etc., that would be able to tell me, is that true? Am I the world's worst communicator? Or like everybody else, I communicate how I communicate now, and I'm going to continue to get better at it if that's something that I care about. And then we want to adjust our behavior and our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs about ourselves and everything else as we get feedback as to whether it's true or not. So many things we believe are absolutely nonsense that we made up in our mind, right? That's the thing about beliefs. We just have them. We don't always know where they came from. We don't know if they're helping us or hurting us until something happens to show us evidence of them impacting us in a way that we do or do not want. And so we want to be continually improving and looking at our thoughts and asking ourselves, what am I thinking? Well, does that make sense? Is that true? Is everybody out to get me? Are there so many competitors that there's no point getting involved in this business? Is that true or false? I think that's probably a false statement in almost any industry on the planet, although it's one of the first things that new business owners pop into their head. Oh, I have this great idea, but I'm not going to do it because there's 1,000 competitors. So what? If you have something that can change the world and make the world a better place, why would you not do that? So I think it's a great list of 10. I'm sure we could add a whole bunch of things to it, but of those 10, just ask yourself, do I believe any of these things? And then start going out and looking for evidence that says either you are a great listener or you're not. You do see yourself accurately and assess your performance accurately. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you balance those out and make choices and decisions to not be affected by the things that you're not good at, but to build on the strengths of things that you are good at. So what makes a good leader? I like this list, but I think it's missing some things. So I would ask that we add to, how do we define a leader? What's a good leader to us? And I would agree that being a good person is number one on the list. Are you honest, trustworthy, ethical, and moral? I'll add mine at the end. Number 2, visionary. Number 3, flexible. Number 4, courageous. Number 5, customer focused. Number 6, a great example. I say that one a lot, that we need to be a good example. Number 7, curious. Number 8, ferocious, meaning you protect the people that you're here to protect. You stand up for what you believe in. Number 9, compassionate. And then what would you add to this list? I would add something about consistency, passion, energetic, or their energy, the impact they have on other people, and things like that, that I would add to my what does it take to be a good leader list. Curious what you would add. So I want to know, I guess my biggest question today is, do you believe, like my granddaughter, that leaders never lie? I guess the word never is the one that gets me, is whenever we speak of anything in absolutes, I think we're in trouble, because there is no absolute anything for the most part on the planet and in our lives. I mean, absolutely, we're all going to die someday, but that's about it, right? We're born with nothing, we die, we're born and die. Those are about the only guarantees we have in life. Beyond that, I think that never and always and most of the time, qualifiers and words like that just get us into trouble. All right, that's our topic for today. I want to thank my 6-year-old granddaughter, Etta, for this particular one. It's not an idiom, deviation from our daily idiom, but I thought it was a topic worth discussing, because it's like everything else we believe. We believe things without even thinking about why we believe these things. She has no idea where she got the belief that leaders never lie. She just believes that it's absolutely true. And if she believes that, how will that influence the way that she leads the rest of her life? That's what got me to thinking about it. So that's it. Go out and have an awesome day. Love to hear your take on this particular topic. Share in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be back tomorrow with another interesting idiom about leadership, and I will make sure it's an idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business and your life right now? Share what you think about this topic below. Take care. See you tomorrow.